The waveform sat there on my screen, smug and quiet, like it knew it had me. The transcript line at the top read, "Hi, Claire Donovan," and I felt my shoulders go tight before I even hit play again. Because the message didn't just say my name. It said my old address, the one I hadn't lived at in 2 years, and then it said the exact time my engagement party started. And I just sat there, staring at my phone like it could blink first. The only problem was the voicemail wasn't meant for me. Let me back up. It was the Friday after I called off my wedding and disputed a final payment that shouldn't have existed. My coffee had already gone cold in its paper cup, which felt on brand for my life at the time. I'd been trying to do normal things. Work. Errands. A grocery run that somehow turned into standing in a strip mall parking lot, staring at a notification like it was a threat. New voicemail. I hit play. The voice sounded practiced. Calm in that way people get when they're either very good at customer service or very good at managing situations. She didn't start with, "Sorry I missed your call." She started with, "Just confirming for the file," like she believed she was speaking into a secure little chain, like her words were meant to stay inside a system. And my phone dutifully typed out what it thought she said, including one weird mistake that I didn't understand yet. It wrote "vital sweet" instead of "bridal suite." I heard my full name and felt that little internal flinch you get when someone says it in a tone that doesn't belong to them. Then she said my old address, smooth as if she was reading it off a clipboard. Then she said, "Engagement party start time, 6:30. Like she was confirming a delivery window. 6:30? That number hit different. Not because it was dramatic, because it was precise. And precision like that doesn't float around the world by accident. My coffee sat there on my desk, turning into sad brown water, while I replayed the voicemail again and again, like pressing on a bruise to prove it was real. If you'd asked me a month earlier, I would have told you my life was normal. Raleigh area suburb. Commute. Office job. Project manager brain that liked checklists and clean timelines. Engaged to Ethan, who could charm his way through any room, and then avoid any conflict that might mess up the charm. Wedding planning was its own weird second job. Tabs open. Vendor emails. Little decisions that somehow became a vision. You know how it goes, except mine had already started cracking. The first crack was that envelope at my engagement party. A woman I'd never seen before walked in, handed me an envelope with my name on it, and disappeared before I could even ask a question. It was such a clean little moment, like a prop in a play. Proof that someone could step into my life, drop information in my lap, and vanish. I told myself it was a one-time weirdness. I was wrong about the one-time part. The second crack was the final payment. A charge that appeared like it had been hiding in the wings. The numbers didn't match what I'd signed. I disputed it because I'm not the kind of person who lets a surprise charge slide just to keep everyone comfortable. Ethan's first response was, "Let's not make it a thing," which is Ethan speak for, "Please don't ruin the vibe." His mom, Diane, had her own way of managing vibes. Diane was polished, strategic, the kind of woman who could offer help in a tone that made refusing feel like you were insulting her character. "I can handle vendor updates, sweetie," she'd texted me once, like she was offering to carry a bag. I'd said, "Thanks, but I've got it." And she'd replied, "Of course, just trying to lighten your load." No fight, no push, just hovering. Like a scented candle you couldn't blow out without looking ungrateful. So on that Friday, with my cold coffee and my phone screen glowing, I did the first thing that felt sane. I called Tasha. Tasha was my coworker and my friend, the person who listened like she was diagnosing a leak in your ceiling. Calm, focused, already imagining where the water started. She didn't dramatize my life. She just helped me look at it. She said, Play it again, out loud. I replayed it. And this time, I heard the part that made my stomach tighten even more. The caller said, "I will route the update through the family contact, per usual." Per usual. Per usual for who? I opened the voicemail details and stared at the caller ID. It just said unknown with only the last few digits visible. I took a screenshot anyway, because the last few weeks had taught me something. If you don't capture it, someone will later tell you you imagined it. Then I noticed the timestamp embedded in the transcript. The voicemail referenced Saturday at 6:30, the exact minute Diane had insisted we start the engagement party, so guests aren't standing around awkwardly. That line had been hers, delivered with a smile like it was common sense. A stranger's voicemail was quoting Diane's preferences. I tried the obvious next step. Oh, I called the venue we'd toured early on, the one Ethan loved because it had good flow. The coordinator answered with that sweet customer service voice that can say no without sounding like no. I said, "Hi, I'm trying to confirm who you have as the primary contact on the file." She hesitated and said, "Oh, honey, I can't go into details, but we were told to route updates through." And then she paused, like she realized she'd said too much. She didn't say Diane's full name, but she said the name the way you say a name you've already been trained to treat as authority. Then she corrected herself quickly, like smoothing a wrinkle. "Through the family contact on file." I stared at the wall while she talked, because I had never put a family contact on file. When I told Ethan, he responded the way he always did when something messy threatened his comfort. Probably spam. Then, "Babe, don't spiral." Then, "Mom just helps. That's all." I wanted to shake him, not because I was angry, but because spam doesn't know my old address. Spam doesn't know the exact minute my engagement party started. Spam doesn't say, "per usual." Tasha didn't say, "You need to confront them." She didn't say anything dramatic. She said, "Focus on what you can prove." She pointed at my phone screen and said, "That transcript error, vital sweet. Play that part again." I did. In the audio, the caller clearly said bridal suite. My phone had misheard it. But that misheard word mattered because it proved the voicemail was about wedding logistics. It wasn't random. It was inside a planning chain. That's when I went digging in the most depressing place possible. My wedding planning folder. I hadn't shredded it yet. I hadn't had the energy. It sat in my home office like a cardboard monument to the life I'd almost agreed to. Inside, tucked behind a vendor brochure, I found a small handwritten note I didn't remember writing. The handwriting wasn't mine. It said, "Route updates through family contact. Keep messaging consistent." Keep messaging consistent. My stomach did that quiet drop again. Because Diane had a phrase she used like punctuation. "Let's keep it consistent." Sweetie. It wasn't angry. It wasn't loud. It was managerial. The tone of someone who believed order was her job. I pulled up old texts from Diane, and there it was. That phrase, the same one now sitting inside a voicemail transcript that wasn't meant for me. Either Diane had coached the caller, or Diane was the caller's client. I opened my calendar history and felt my jaw tighten. During planning, Ethan had asked casually, "Can I add Mom so she can help coordinate?" I'd said yes, because it sounded harmless. Because I was trying to be easy. Because help coordinate sounds like sharing a grocery list, not handing someone your life. But the screenshot didn't lie. Diane had access to my event details for months. Access wasn't stolen. Oh, it was granted. I sat there with my cold coffee and replayed the voicemail again. This time I caught something I'd missed. The caller said, "Your dispute is noted. The final payment has been flagged." I froze. That phrase didn't belong in a venue call. That phrase belonged in billing, in a payment chain, in the exact dispute Ethan wanted me to stop talking about. So I did what project managers do when life refuses to stay emotional and starts being logistical. I searched my email, final payment, road updates, family contact, and there it was, a forwarded chain I had never started. It showed Diane's email copied on a vendor billing thread. Diane wasn't just helping, she was in the billing loop. And suddenly, Ethan's convenience became something else in my head. Ethan was the I'll just handle it guy. Efficient, confident. He'd logged into the vendor portal for me once when my phone was dying. He'd said, I'll take care of it, like it was romantic. If Diane had access through Ethan, it would look clean. Not hacking, not malicious, just family convenience. Convenience is the softest shape of control. Tasha kept me grounded. She said, call them again, ask a simple question, get the answer in writing. So I did. I made calls with my notes open, my coffee cold, and my voice as steady as I could keep it. I asked vendors a straightforward question. Who instructed you to route updates through a family contact? One vendor replied the way vendors do when they're trying not to get pulled into drama. Polite, careful, factual. Per request, we routed updates through Diane R. as the primary contact for messaging consistency. There it was again. Consistency. The email included the date the contact was changed. The day before my engagement party. The same party where the envelope appeared. The same party where Diane had insisted on 6:30 like it was a federal law. That timing wasn't sloppy. It was choreography. Then, like the universe decided I deserved a second exhibit, another voicemail came in. Shorter, tighter. Pop, less friendly. Please disregard the previous message, the caller said. Wrong routing. Everything is handled. It contradicted the first voicemail's calm detail dump. Someone realized the wrong person had heard the truth. I put the two transcripts side by side. And like a fingerprint, the same phrase showed up again. We'll keep it consistent. Except this time, the tone wasn't customer service. It was damage control. That's when it hit me. I wasn't eavesdropping. I was accidentally included. And the voicemail wasn't meant to be random. It was meant to be controlled. I opened the shared wedding planning folder we'd used, the one Ethan insisted would keep everything simple. Diane wasn't just viewing it. She was an editor. She could add notes, upload files, message vendors through the portal. She could adjust the story in real time. And the voicemail wasn't a mistake. It was the system hiccuping. I listened to the end of the first voicemail again, slower, like I was trying to hear the truth between the words. The last line wasn't about dates or payment. It said, "We'll proceed once Claire confirms the narrative." Not confirms the date, not confirms the payment, confirms the narrative. I sat there with my cold coffee and realized they weren't just planning a wedding. They were planning a story about me. Ethan came over that night. No slammed doors, no yelling. Why, just him trying to soften the room like he always did. Mom just wanted to help, he said. I slid my phone across the counter and played the voicemail. He went still halfway through the transcript, like his brain couldn't smooth this over fast enough. He started to say something, then stopped. Then tried again. "Okay, that's weird," he said. Weird. Like the weather. Like a street closed for construction. I didn't argue. I just looked at him and asked, "How did they know about the dispute, Ethan?" He didn't answer me directly. He did that thing where conflict-avoidant people talk around the truth. She probably got copied by accident. Probably. I called Diane with Ethan sitting there, because I wanted one thing. No more private side conversations about my life. Diane answered with polished warmth. "Hi, sweetie," I said. "I got a voicemail meant for your vendor chain." Silence. Then a soft laugh, like she was trying to make it cute. "That can't be right. I said, "It has my full name, my old address, and the start time of our engagement party." She paused, then shifted into that calm managerial tone. "Well, let's keep it consistent here." And there it was. The tell. The phrase she used when she believed she was steering the room back onto agenda. That was the moment I stopped wondering if I was being unfair. People don't accidentally repeat their tells when they're innocent. They repeat them when they're comfortable. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't give a speech. I didn't threaten anyone. I just did what I'd learned to do in work and life when someone was trying to control the narrative. I created a paper trail. I sent a calm email to the vendor and copied Ethan and Diane. "Please confirm in writing who instructed you to route updates through a family contact and who had access to my billing information." The reply came back factual and clean. No drama. Just reality. That was the truth said out loud to the only audience that mattered, the people who'd been operating the chain. Then I did the one thing Diane couldn't smooth over. I removed Diane from everything. I removed Ethan, too. Not as punishment, as reality. I changed the portal password. I ended the shared planning folder. Told vendors, "Only contact me directly from this point forward." It felt shockingly calm, like turning off a humming appliance you didn't realize was driving you nuts. Diane called it dramatic. I called it basic. I texted Diane one sentence. "The wedding is off, and you don't have permission to manage any part of my life." No extra paragraphs, no debate, no softening. Ethan asked if we could talk about it later. I said, "There is no later. There's just me taking my name back." For a week, I still caught myself reaching for the voicemail like it was a bruise I needed to press. My coffee kept going cold because I kept replaying proof instead of living. Then one morning, I closed the voicemail screen and flipped my phone over. I drank my coffee while it was still warm. The final payment dispute resolved quietly, exactly the way boring truth tends to. Vendors updated their files. The portal stopped sending weird automated messages. My calendar looked empty in a way that felt like oxygen. And Diane stopped calling. Not because she suddenly understood boundaries, because she couldn't reach through the system anymore. I filed the envelope, the final payment emails, and the voicemail screenshots in the same box. Not because I wanted pain as a souvenir, because I wanted a record of the moment I stopped confusing politeness with goodness. Some people don't steal. They just keep what you hand them. So I'm curious, if you got a wrong voicemail that knew your private details a little too well, would you assume it was an accident, or would you start pulling the thread? Tell me what you'd do first.